Hello and welcome to another lesson today. We're going to talk about types of economies. So there are 4 types of economies that we're going to talk about today. The first is market economy, then command, then mixed economies, and then finally traditional. So, on to the first one, the market economy. So, market economies are characterized by limited government involvement, private property, freedom of choice, motive of self-interest, competition, and a system of markets and prices. So, the biggest thing to know about the market economy is that limited to really no government involvement in how the economy works. Who decides everything are the producers and consumers. So the producers decide what to produce, how much, and for how much. And the consumers inform the producers what to produce via what they actually buy and how much they're willing to pay for something. All right? So in a market economy, the producers own their property. They make the choices of what to make. So if they want to make pink shoes, they can make pink shoes. If the customers don't want to buy pink shoes, then the producer is not going to make pink shoes. They'll make whatever colors the consumers actually want. Because the producers are motivated by self-interest. They'll produce what they want as long as consumers are willing to buy what they make. And it's characterized also, like I said, by competition because all these producers are competing for the consumer's business or money. All right? Next one, command economy. So the command economy is really characterized by the government determines pretty much everything, okay? So everything is determined by the government. Here it says what to produce, how to produce, and prices. Now, in a command economy, you really want to even go further than that. A command economy decides what people make. They, like it says here, they decide the price. So first of all, let's start out with, so the government decides what the person does. So they decide what kind of job you'll get. Then they decide how much money you'll get paid. Then they'll decide what that factory that you work at will produce. So how to produce and what to produce. They'll give the person who manages that factory, because they won't own it in a command economy. In a command economy, everything is owned by the government, okay? Everything. So they'll decide what the manager makes. They'll provide that manager with all the materials that he needs, well, or at least with materials they decided will be enough to produce what they have asked for, because they'll tell him how much to produce. So whether it's 5 or 10 or even 100 units of something with the amount of materials that they provided. And then finally, like it says here, they'll tell them how much to charge for that item. Okay? So remember, government and a command economy, the government determines everything. A mixed economy is next. So a mixed economy is really, like the name is, a mixture between market and command. Okay? So in a market economy, you still have private property, you have supply and demand determines price, kind of like what we're talking about, and it's still driven by self-interest, but the government is involved. So the federal government can safeguard people and markets, government may own some key industries, and government can manage social welfare programs. So unlike the market economy where the producer decides pretty much everything with the advice and consultant of the consumer, here the government goes, okay, so you can run your own business, but you need some safeguards for people like, say, hard hats. Or no, you can't have vats of hot liquid going over your workers' heads, because that would be unsafe if it were to fall on them. Okay? Because bad. Government may own some key industries. So, say like electricity may be owned. They may own electricity because, well, everyone in the country needs it. Okay? Or maybe it's cell phones because everyone needs to communicate with each other. They'll also provide some kind of benefits for people because maybe they don't want to rely just on the business to do it. But just like in a market economy, the producers are still driven by self-interest. So they still want to make money. They'll provide, well, that's cool. They'll provide what the consumer needs, not because the consumer needs it, but rather because the consumer will give them money. Okay? And that's mixed economy. Last is traditional economy. Now, you don't see many traditional economies in the world today because they've basically been phased out with market, mixed, and command economies. So a traditional economy is more loosely defined as individual roles and choices defined by customs and ancestors and elders. So basically, the economy in a traditional economy works in such a way as just how it's always kind of worked. You'll usually find bartering in this kind of environment, in this system. These economies are usually found in hunter-gatherer societies. So you would say they're not found in very advanced societies because, well, in advanced societies, we require more like coin money and all that kind of stuff to really operate everything that's going on around our economy. Whereas this is only efficient in small group settings. So you're talking about like villages or like tribes even. Like you're not going to find it in a big city necessarily, okay? Like I said, this economy counts on bartering, so you're not really going to find any like coin or paper money here. Instead, they're going to trade like this bow for this number thing, or they'll trade a chicken for, say, wood or food. Okay? So bartering is a very key part to this one. And with that, that's all kinds of economies. And I hope you have a good day. If you have any more questions, please ask your teacher.